Have you ever felt like fear is an invisible chain, silently holding you back from the life you truly deserve? Picture this for a moment. A life where fear doesn't dictate your choices, where you face challenges with calm clarity and your confidence feels unshakable. Sounds like a dream, right? But let's be honest. Fear and anxiety are struggles we all experience. They sneak into our thoughts, keep us awake at night, and often stop us from fully living the life we want. Fear shows up in so many forms. The fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of not being good enough. And it can feel overwhelming, even paralyzing. But here's something truly powerful. Fear doesn't have to control you. You have the power to rise above it. And ancient Buddhist teachings, wisdom that has been a guiding light for over 2,500 years, offer profound tools to help you do just that. Buddhist lessons are not just abstract philosophy. They're practical, actionable, and deeply transformative. They teach us how to navigate life's uncertainties, how to calm the mind, and how to unlock the courage that lies within us. Imagine facing your fears not with panic, but with strength and clarity. Imagine breaking free from the limitations that fear places on you. In this video, we're going to explore 6 powerful Buddhist lessons that can help you overcome fear and embrace courage. These teachings are not about denying fear, but understanding it, transforming it into a stepping stone for growth rather than a barrier to your potential. Each lesson is simple yet profound, designed to empower you to reclaim your inner peace and strength. And here's the best part. Stick around until the end, because we've saved a bonus lesson, a life-changing insight that could unlock lasting freedom from fear. It's a concept deeply rooted in Buddhist wisdom, one that has helped countless people find clarity and courage in the face of life's biggest challenges. So, if you're ready to let go of fear's grip, if you're ready to embrace a life of confidence, calm, and courage, let's dive into these teachings together. You don't have to let fear hold you back any longer. The path to freedom and fearlessness starts here. Why does fear hold such a powerful grip on us? It's a question we all ask when anxiety takes over our thoughts and paralyzes us from moving forward. Fear often stems from a belief we deeply hold, that life should be predictable, stable, and unchanging. But here's the reality. Life is not fixed. It's a constant flow of change, as natural and inevitable as the rising and setting of the sun. Buddhist wisdom shines a light on this truth. One of its core teachings is the principle of impermanence. Everything in life, our joys, our struggles, and even the fears that seem insurmountable, exists only for a moment before passing on. Imagine standing by a river. The water flows endlessly, never the same from one second to the next. Now picture trying to grasp and hold on to a single drop. It's impossible, isn't it? That's the nature of life. And that's the nature of fear. Fear traps us because it clings to what we cannot control. It convinces us to hold tight to the idea of permanence, of keeping things exactly as they are. But life doesn't work that way. When we resist the flow of change, we amplify our suffering. Buddhist wisdom invites us to let go, to embrace the impermanence of all things. It's in that letting go that fear begins to lose its power. Think about a time when fear overwhelmed you. Maybe it was the fear of failure, loss, or uncertainty. Did that fear stay with you forever? No, it passed. It drifted away like a cloud crossing the sky. That's the nature of all emotions, including fear. They come and they go. The practice is to observe them, to acknowledge them without judgment, and to let them flow through you. When you accept impermanence, something profound happens. You stop being consumed by overthinking and worrying about what might happen. Instead, you start living fully in the present moment. You find clarity and peace in the here and now, realizing that the grip of fear was never as strong as it seemed. So the next time fear rises within you, pause, breathe, Remind yourself that this too will pass. Picture the river of life flowing, effortlessly, carrying your fears away with its current. In that moment you'll begin to see fear for what it truly is, temporary, fleeting, and powerless against the wisdom of your own inner calm. Why do we suffer? Why does fear tighten its grip, especially when life feels uncertain? These are questions that touch the very heart of what it means to be human. According to Buddhist wisdom, suffering isn't a sign of personal failure or weakness. It's universal. It's a shared experience deeply rooted in our attachments and aversions, the things we cling to and the things we push away. Imagine walking through life carrying a heavy backpack. Inside it are all your expectations, fears, and desires to control every outcome. With each step, the weight of that backpack grows heavier, making the journey more difficult. This is what attachment does to us. We hold on tightly to what we want, to what we think should happen, and in doing so, we create our own suffering. But here's the liberating truth. You're not alone. Look around you. Every person you meet, every single one, has felt the sting of fear and the weight of anxiety. They've struggled with loss, uncertainty, and the longing for things to stay the same. This realization is profoundly powerful. It reminds us of our shared humanity and invites us to approach life with compassion, not just for others, but for ourselves. When you accept that suffering is universal, something extraordinary happens. Fear begins to transform. Instead of seeing it as an enemy, you can begin to view it as a teacher. Fear reminds you that you're alive, that you're human, and that you have the capacity to grow. It shows you the areas where you are clinging too tightly, and it invites you to loosen your grip. Acceptance is the first step toward freedom. But acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean resigning yourself to a life of pain. Instead, it's about opening your heart to the reality of the present moment. It's about facing life as it is, not as you wish it to be. Think about it. How much of your suffering comes from resisting what is, from wanting things to be different than they are? When you let go of that resistance, you begin to experience peace. Not a fleeting, surface-level peace, but a deep and lasting one that comes from living in harmony with life's impermanent nature. So as you move forward, remember this: suffering is not your enemy. It's a guide pointing you toward the truth. Embrace it with courage, compassion, and an open heart. When you do, you'll discover a strength within you that no fear can ever conquer, a strength rooted in the timeless wisdom of your own humanity. What is fear, really? Is it the monster we imagine lurking in the shadows, waiting to strike, or is it something far less tangible? Fear often thrives in the darkness of the unknown. It grows when we let our minds run wild with what-ifs and worst-case scenarios. But here's the truth: fear is rarely rooted in reality. It's a story our minds create, a trick of perception. Think about a time when you mistook a rope for a snake in the dark. In that moment, your heart raced, your breath quickened, and the fear felt completely real. But when the light came on, you saw the truth. It wasn't a snake, it was just a rope, harmless and ordinary. Fear is exactly like that. It tricks us, making us believe in dangers that often don't exist. The Buddha taught us something profound about fear. It's not a fact. It's an illusion, a projection of our minds. Most of the things we fear never actually happen. Yet we allow our thoughts to drag us into a spiral of worry, imagining outcomes that may never come to pass. The power of Buddhist wisdom lies in helping us see through this illusion. When fear grips you, try this simple practice. Pause and ask yourself, is this threat real, or is it a story my mind has created? This moment of awareness is transformative. It breaks the cycle of fear and brings you back to the present moment. It's like turning on the light in a dark room. The shadow of fear disappears because it can't survive in the clarity of truth. Mindfulness is your light. It shines directly on fear, exposing it for what it truly is, a fleeting shadow, not reality. With mindfulness, you begin to see fear as it arises. You recognize its patterns and understand how it operates. Instead of reacting to fear, you observe it. You let it pass, like a cloud drifting across the sky. Remember this: fear only has power if you give it power. When you meet fear with awareness, you take that power back. You reclaim your peace, your clarity, and your strength. Fear is no longer an enemy to fight, but a lesson to learn from, a reminder to stay grounded in the truth of the present moment. So, the next time fear whispers in your ear, don't run from it. Instead, turn toward it with curiosity and courage. Shine the light of mindfulness, and you'll see fear for what it truly is. Just a shadow, passing and insubstantial, unable to hold you back from the life you are meant to live. Fear doesn't exist in the present moment. It finds its strength in the shadows of the past and the uncertainties of the future, in regrets over what has been and worries about what might come. But here's something profound. The present moment is always safe. It's here now, and it's free from the stories fear weaves. This is where mindfulness, a cornerstone of Buddhist wisdom, offers its greatest gift, the ability to anchor yourself in the now. Imagine standing on a vast, open beach. The waves crash onto the shore, relentless and powerful. Without mindfulness, you're like someone caught in the tide, swept away by waves of anxious thoughts. But with mindfulness, you become the observer. You stand firm, calmly watching the waves rise and fall. You realize you're not the waves. You're the one watching them. This is the power of mindfulness. It allows you to step back, to observe fear without becoming it. Fear might arise, but it doesn't have to consume you. Instead, you can meet it with calm curiosity, acknowledging its presence but refusing to let it control your mind. The next time fear arises, take a moment to pause. Breathe deeply, in and out. Feel the air filling your lungs and leaving your body. Tune into the sensations around you, the sound of birds, the texture of the ground beneath your feet, the rhythm of your own heartbeat. These simple acts bring you back to the present, grounding you in reality and pulling you away from the imaginary fears of past and future. Mindfulness doesn't make fear vanish. It's not a magic trick, but it does transform your relationship with fear. Instead of being caught in a storm, you see fear for what it is, a passing wave, fleeting and powerless unless you hold on to it. Think about this. When you're truly present in the moment, fear can't survive. It needs the what-ifs of tomorrow or the regrets of yesterday to take hold. But in the now, there's no room for it to grow. There's only you, fully alive, fully aware, and fully grounded. Buddhist wisdom teaches that this practice of mindfulness is like building a sanctuary within yourself, a place where no fear, no worry, no regret can reach you. It's a quiet, steady strength that grows every time you choose to come back to the present moment. So, when fear shows up, and it will, welcome it. Acknowledge it. Then gently guide your attention back to the now. Watch the waves rise and fall. Feel the earth beneath your feet. Know that in this moment you are safe. Fear doesn't define you. It's just a wave passing through your awareness. And with mindfulness, you are always anchored, always free. Why do we fear losing the things we love? It's a fear that runs deep because we believe our happiness is tied to them, that without them we'll be incomplete or lost. But the harder we cling, the more fear tightens its grip, leaving us anxious and restless. Buddhist wisdom offers a profound perspective on this. It teaches us to let go of attachment, not love, not care, but the desperate need to control and cling. Imagine this. You're holding a handful of sand. You want to keep it safe, so you squeeze it tightly. But the tighter your grip, the faster it slips through your fingers. The harder you try to hold on, the more you lose. Now, relax your hand. Open your palm. The sand rests gently, without effort. Life is like that sand. The more we cling to people, possessions, or outcomes, the more we suffer. But when we release our need to control, we discover a deeper peace. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean giving up on love or passion. It means loving without fear, pouring your heart into relationships, dreams, and efforts, but without the constant anxiety of losing them. It's about shifting your focus from outcomes to the process. Buddhist wisdom teaches us to focus on effort, not results. Love deeply, work passionately, but trust that whatever happens, you have the inner resilience to adapt and grow. This perspective invites us to trust the natural flow of life. Everything in life is impermanent, joys, sorrows, even the things we hold most dear. By accepting this truth, we free ourselves from the grip of fear. Instead of clinging, we learn to appreciate every moment for what it is, precious and fleeting. We learn to live fully in the present, knowing that nothing can truly be possessed and nothing is truly lost. Think about it. What would it feel like to let go of the fear of losing? To trust yourself, to know that you have the strength to rebuild, to move forward, no matter what life brings. True freedom lies in this trust. It's the freedom to love without conditions, to live without fear, and to embrace change with courage and grace. So, the next time fear arises, the fear of losing someone you love, the fear of failure, the fear of change, pause. Take a breath, ask yourself, what am I clinging to? Then gently loosen your grip. Let go, not of the love or the effort, but of the fear that binds you to outcomes you cannot control. When you do, you'll find that life flows more freely, like sand resting gently in an open palm. And in that flow, there is peace, there is freedom, there is true happiness. In a world that constantly demands instant results, waiting has become almost unbearable. We live in an age where everything seems to be just a click away, and patience feels like a forgotten virtue. Yet, when impatience takes hold, fear often follows close behind. We crave quick fixes, immediate solutions, and certainty. But life doesn't work that way, does it? Challenges, growth, and clarity unfold in their own time. And here's where Buddhist wisdom offers us a lifeline. Patience. Patience isn't about sitting idly by, hoping things will magically fall into place. It's an active trust in life's rhythm, a belief that everything has its season. Imagine planting a tree. You prepare the soil, plant the seed, water it, and nurture it, but you can't force it to grow. You trust that with time, sunlight, and care it will flourish. Life works the same way. The results we seek, whether they're answers, healing, or growth, often take time to emerge. Impatience, however, magnifies fear. It tells us we're running out of time or that things won't work out unless we act immediately. But rushing rarely leads to peace. It pulls us out of the present moment and into a cycle of worry and overthinking. Patience, on the other hand, is the antidote to this spiral. It allows us to pause, breathe, and trust that the process is unfolding. Exactly as it should. The next time fear arises, whether it's fear of the unknown, fear of failure, or fear of waiting too long, pause. Remind yourself that not everything needs to be resolved right now. Ask yourself, what can I do in this moment to nurture the process? Focus on what's within your control and let go of what isn't. By doing this, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. Buddhist wisdom teaches us to embrace patience as a form of strength. It's not about resignation, it's about resilience. It's about staying steady in the face of uncertainty, trusting that life will reveal its answers in due time. Patience teaches us to move through life with grace, to find peace even in moments of waiting. Think of the times in your life when you've rushed through challenges, desperate for quick solutions. Did it bring you the peace you sought? Or did it add to your stress? Now think about the moments when you allowed yourself to let go, to trust the process. Those are the moments when fear began to fade, replaced by a quiet, steady resilience. So the next time you find yourself gripped by fear or impatience, remember this: life, like the tree you've planted, grows at its own pace. You can nurture it, but you can't rush it. Trust the rhythm of life. Be patient. With time, you'll see that the answers, the growth and the peace you're seeking were always on their way to you. Fear loses its power when you embrace the beauty of the unfolding process, and in that trust you'll find true peace. When fear strikes, what do you tell yourself? Do you find your inner voice filled with criticism, asking why you feel this way or wishing you could be braver? Many of us are our own harshest critics. We beat ourselves up for feeling scared or vulnerable, as if fear itself was some kind of failure. But here's the truth that Buddhist wisdom reveals: fear is not a flaw. It's a natural part of being human. And the key to dissolving its power isn't harsh self-judgment, it's self-compassion. Think about how you would comfort a dear friend who is feeling afraid. You wouldn't criticize them or tell them to just get over it. You'd offer kindness, understanding, and a reminder that it's okay to feel scared. But when it comes to ourselves, we rarely extend the same grace. Buddhist wisdom teaches us to turn this compassion inward. Self-compassion is not just kindness. It's a profound act of courage and wisdom. It acknowledges that fear is a shared human experience, one that we all face. The next time fear arises, take a moment to pause, place a hand gently on your heart, and say to yourself, "It's okay to feel this way. I'm doing the best I can." Feel the warmth of your hand, the steady rhythm of your heartbeat, and let that simple act create a sense of safety within you. This practice may seem small, but it carries immense power. It reminds you that you are not alone, and that it's okay to be exactly as you are in this moment. Self-compassion doesn't make fear vanish. Fear will still arise. It's part of life's ebb and flow. But when you approach it with kindness rather than judgment, something shifts. Fear loses its sharp edge. It no longer feels like a threat, but becomes something softer, something you can sit with and understand. It's in this space of understanding that courage is born, not the absence of fear, but the strength to move forward despite it. Buddhist teachings remind us that fear is not our enemy. It's a teacher, showing us where we are vulnerable, where we need to grow, and where we need to heal. When we meet fear with self-compassion, we transform it. Instead of a barrier, it becomes a doorway to resilience and wisdom. So the next time fear whispers in your ear, don't push it away or fight against it. Instead, welcome it with the same compassion you would offer a friend. Say to yourself, "This is hard, but I can face it. I'm here for myself, and I will get through this." In that moment, you create an inner space of safety and strength. And from that space, fear loses its grip. You'll find yourself able to take the next step, no matter how small, with courage and clarity. Remember, fear isn't here to break you. It's here to guide you, to remind you of your strength, to teach you resilience, and to show you the beauty of moving forward, even when the path feels uncertain. Treat yourself with compassion, and you'll find that courage has been within you all along.